Real estate words and terms with meanings and examples, part number 5. Exclusive listing, which means a listing where only one agent can sell the property. For instance, the seller signed an exclusive listing agreement. Fair market value, which means the price a property would sell for on the open market. For example, the appraisal estimated the fair market value. Fixture, which means an item permanently attached to a property. For instance, the chandelier is a fixture included in the sale. For sale by owner, FSBO, which means selling a property without a real estate agent. For example, they listed their house FSBO to avoid commission. Fixed expenses, which means costs that do not change monthly, like property taxes. For instance, mortgage principal and taxes are fixed expenses. Gross income, which means total income generated before expenses. For example, the rental property's gross income was $24,000 annually. Home equity line of credit, HELOC, which means a revolving loan secured by home equity. For instance, they used a HELOC to fund home improvements. Home inspection, which means a professional evaluation of a home's condition. For example, the home inspection found minor electrical issues. Home warranty, which means a service contract covering home repairs for a period. For instance, the buyer purchased a home warranty for peace of mind. Interest rate, which means the percentage charged on a loan's principal. For example, the mortgage interest rate was fixed at 3.5%. Judgment, which means a court decision requiring payment or action. For instance, a judgment lien was placed on the property. Landlord, which means the owner who rents out property to tenants. For example, the landlord fixed the broken heater promptly. Lease, which means a contract granting tenant use of property for a time. For instance, they signed a 1-year lease agreement. Lease option, which means a lease allowing tenant to buy the property later. For example, the lease option gave them 6 months to buy. Lien holder, which means a person or entity with a legal claim on a property. For instance, the bank is the lien holder on the mortgage. Listing price, which means the asking price set by the seller. For example, the listing price was set at $350,000. Loan-to-value ratio, LTV, which means loan amount divided by property value percentage. For instance, the LTV was 80%, requiring 20% down payment. Market value, which means the price a property would sell for under normal conditions. For example, the market value was higher than the assessed value. Mechanic's lien, which means a claim by contractors for unpaid work on property. For instance, the contractor placed a mechanic's lien after non-payment. Millage rate, which means tax rate applied per $1,000 of property value. For example, the millage rate affected the annual property taxes. Multiple offers, which means when several buyers make offers on one property. For instance, the seller received multiple offers above asking price. Mortgage broker, which means a person who helps find and arrange mortgage loans. For example, the mortgage broker found a loan with a low rate. Mortgage insurance, which means insurance protecting the lender if borrower defaults. For instance, mortgage insurance is required on low down payments. Net operating income, NOI, which means income from property after operating expenses. For example, the property's NOI was $15,000 annually. Offer to purchase, which means a formal bid made by a buyer to buy property. For instance, the offer to purchase was accepted by the seller.